Evening, everybody, and welcome to my little soiree. You know what time it is? Tittle tea time. Today is February 3rd, 2022, and welcome to my channel. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Joseph Tittel, aka SpiritmanJT, here to bring you love, light, truth, predictions, and prophecies. Yes, sounds like fun, doesn't it? Thank you all for hanging out with me today. Thank you tonight, wherever you may be in the world. This is my top 20 predictions for February. If you're new to me or new to the channel, make sure you go back and look at my New Year's Day world predictions, annual world predictions, and all the content that I put out, especially the recent Hopi prophecy and the other ones. Just make sure you go back and look at the channel. Also, be sure to subscribe down below. Click the bell, click the all if you want to get notifications, and make sure you double check your cellular devices as well. And give me a like down below. That's always helpful. I thank you all for your love and your support in any way that comes in, and you can find all my links down below in the description. So let us get started on my most recent top 20. And as many of you know, people that have been to my channel before, as I give you information, sometimes more information flows out. I get more details. So sometimes there could be more than 20. I know, excuse me, I know a couple of the predictions here today have multiple, it's more like 2-in-1 prediction. And a couple of them I only just put notes down to tune into it while I'm chatting with you. So let us begin with February 3rd, 2022, top 20 predictions for this point going forward. I'll also keep in mind, some things, and it used to be sometimes like when, I think it was 2017 when I said I saw people wearing masks everywhere. Sometimes it takes a couple years for things to come into fruition. But now also sometimes, especially being as I do this monthly and weekly and different things, some things come into fruition a little bit quicker. Also, sometimes I elaborate a little bit more on some of the past predictions. So sometimes things come up and I get more detail. Like one of these today I had deja vu about, so we'll talk about that in a minute. But let me start and I'll count backwards, forwards. Number 20, Trump, yes, Donald Trump, will be hitting headlines in the mass media. And we know the mass media is the fake news and the false media, but all media. And to me, it seems to feel like a completely whole nother takedown. Kind of like what they did with Twitter and all those places. So it felt like another takedown of sorts, but likely something legally. I kept getting from Spirit, it's showing his face in New York City can end up being a bad decision for him. And I wasn't sure exactly what that meant. Showing his face in New York City could end up being a bad decision for him. They are out to get him. And, they, to me, is anybody that is opposite on the fence of him, I guess. But the same ones that tried to take him down before, likely the deep, dark, evil Luciferian people, if he's not a part of it, snuck into it in some way. But who knows? All I know is that they kept saying New York would be a bad decision for him, that they are out to get him, that they seem to fear something he has on them, on this group of people. So that's the them here. He seems to have some kind of information on them, which would make sense, again, to the Luciferian, deep, evil, cabal, Illuminati people. False criminal charges will come. I also see something coming with Trump and Senate hearings. And now as I talk to you, I get that vision, remember, Hillary Clinton, when she was doing those, testifying. So I got that vision popped in my head. So I don't know if it has anything to do with Hillary Clinton. Maybe it does. But again, that Spirit showing me that kind of hearing. So something happening in that aspect of them trying to take him down. Or he's getting called to testify. Again, I wasn't quite sure. Spirit didn't give me a whole lot of more clarity on that. But again, that's all the more reason to subscribe down below so that you can keep up to date when I get more information on predictions and things that are happening in the future. So let's go to number 19. Problems coming out of Japan, my dear beautiful friends in Japan. Not only in the way of a major weather event that can cause thousands to become homeless, but I believe that in itself is an earthquake related event. I am also seeing military planes taking off with both the emotions of fear and fury. So that's what I was feeling when I was saying this. I felt both the emotions of fear and fury together. It was interesting, and I don't know what the planes were taking off for. I don't know if it's related to the same event. I was kind of thinking it might be a couple separate events. I saw a lot of different military activity today in my visions as I was tuning into this, which you'll hear more about as I move forward. But again, I do believe that this is something that is earthquake related. I am also seeing the military planes take off with that emotion of fear and fury. I feel that this is, them taking off is some kind of attempt to protect and to defend if need be. I didn't see any military action like firing or any kind of missiles or anything like that, which is a good thing. So whatever this is, I would imagine that it will pan out to be smooth afterwards. But I do believe it's two separate events. I'm not sure. And then I do see a cracking in the earth as I'm talking to you. Again, this is what happens. I get visions. I see a cracking along a mountain too, along in between a mountainside. So that's kind of interesting. And that could also be related somehow to volcanic activity. And I did say in my last one, I think my weather prediction, because every month I do top 20 or top 10, 15, or 20 world predictions and then weather predictions, excuse me. So let me just move on to number 18. Major political upheaval in Germany, and I know I got lots of friends here in Germany, my German friends. Spirit shows me a vision, and I've gotten a lot on Germany over the past year, so again, go back and listen to some of my other stuff. It appears that an explosion, and it's an explosion where their politicians gather, their parliament or whatever they call it over there. I believe that when Spirit was showing me this, though, I believe it was actually metaphorical more than an actual physical explosion. More likely a huge blow in Germany's political structure. Somehow, and I don't know how, but somehow this affects Turkey. And Turkey goes on the edge of some type of military action or war as well. Again, prediction within a prediction. So again, I will tell you that whatever this big blow in the political structure of Germany that's going to happen, somehow it's going to affect Turkey, and Turkey is on the edge of some type of military action or military war. Action, military movement and war would be better wording. Sorry about that. Number 17, major issues arise for Pakistan. Like the rest of the world, governments will be called out by the people for their wrongdoing. Governments holding on to their dark power, their dark control, trying to really hold on tight, especially this year more than ever. I see massive riots, and this isn't just Pakistan. Pakistan popped in my mind first as I was writing number 17. But this again is going to end up being a global thing. I've been saying it for quite some time now. But I see massive riots and food being kept out of certain areas, especially again going back to Pakistan. Certain areas, like certain towns, certain cities, or certain areas, they're purposely preventing food from going in. They're holding the food away from certain areas, which again is probably a political move of some sort. For the side that they, the light side that don't want the dark to be in control of their governments anymore. And I see many countries that will begin to starve out their own people. So this is why I've been telling you for the longest time, folks, stock up on food, stock up on all that stuff. Number 16, Chinese ships at sea. I see some type of new lockdown. I see some type of new lockdown scare, again, related to China, that also comes to China. It's more of a China lockdown scare, just so you all can get off the edge of your seat right there. It seemed to be some kind of lockdown, something new, specifically targeted in China. And it's very clear, of course, for all of us at this point, that China is a huge, major problem for the world. Their communist evil government is the biggest problem this world faces currently that people don't realize. It's not climate change. It's not global warming. It is China. And China is planning several attacks in different angles. And I tried when Spirit told me that, China, and I saw them gathered around, a table, like a military table. And when Spirit showed me this today, planning several attacks, and I saw like 3 groups of people at this big gigantic round table. Three, a little group here, a little group there and there. So now that I get more clarity on that, I would think that it's 3 separate attacks that they're planning. But Spirit kept telling me different angles, and I kept trying to get more information on that, and I didn't get any more information on that. But the feeling Spirit gave me was that it made my tummy feel very, very nauseated. They will soon make a move, and this move is a very dark, evil, intended move that is intended to destroy, conquer, while trying to send a roundabout warning to the rest of the world, saying, we're not backing down or what have you. So you'll know feels like it's on our doorstep, like this is coming. This is like right on our doorstep. This will not go over very well, of course, and even with the United Nations, surprisingly. Whatever they're pulling, whatever one of these 3 plans, these big moves that they're about to make, the United Nations isn't going with it, which, we all know, if you don't, I'll tell you, that the United Nations literally was built upon evil and darkness with the intention of one world government, one world currency, and one world religion, that religion being the Luciferian religion. And the United Nations is nothing but one of Lucifer's hubs with his little sheep that run around. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that with that. Number 15. The sisters. So if you remember going back, I talked about 3 volcanoes, and this happened. But I got that vision again. And it happened, I think, up in Alaska or somewhere where there were 3 volcanoes that all went off, 2 right next to each other, and then 1 further away. I saw 2 in my vision. Well, this time I see 3. And I swear I may have saw this some point in my predictions so far for 2022. You'd have to go look back. And then I heard about the sisters volcanoes. And I feel like they're sisters. They're like sister volcanoes. And I don't feel like they necessarily blow separately. Because I feel like, okay, we have 3 volcanoes, right? That can, blow out the top. But down beneath in the earth, I feel like it's one big built up pressure bin. Like a pressure cooker. And that's what Spirit shows me. So if I don't have an example. Oh yeah, here's an example. Okay, so we have these 3 little points right here are the 3 volcanoes. They're probably a little closer than that. And right below in the center is where the pressure cooker is. I'll even do it that way. That's the pressure cooker down beneath. And to me, the way Spirit's showing me this, it kind of starts to pressure in the center. So not necessarily being 3 of these, sister volcanoes erupting together and separately, but a new mound forming in the center of them, blowing a gasket. Because again, Spirit shows me this now, and I didn't get this earlier. I only put note sisters blow in my number 15. And Spirit shows me now it's a pressure cooker, and it's building up, and it's building up more towards the center, because in between the 3 of these volcanoes is where it's looser and easier for it to work its way up. Again, I don't know nothing about volcanoes. I'm just telling you what Spirit shows me. So let's move on to number 14. And drones. Drones, folks. Yes, drones. Drones are a big problem. I think the government thinks they're more of a big problem. They're going to tell you they're a big problem because they don't want you to have them and the abilities that they have. But they're going to become a big problem. And drones are a problem as it is, again. But when it comes to government spying and assassinations, drones are going to become the spotlight in headlines and news headlines globally in 2022 and in 2023 due to several factors. And again, that's all I got. I'll read again. Drones are a problem as is when it comes to the government. Spying, assassinations, drones will come into the spotlight and headlines in 2022-23 due to several factors. Spirit didn't show me all those factors, but this wasn't more, again, I just said it, so I'm sure this is going to come to light with us having drones and them trying to put more full control over us, especially even in the United States, having drones and being able to fly up and videotape stuff. So they're going to start to really put a damper on that, and they're going to do some kind of false flag event, and I'm getting this now, related to, you and I, the common day person, having a drone and doing something dark or evil, even though it's not you and I doing something dark and evil with our little drone. It's more like they're making it look that way. So again, this information comes to me now, and I'm going to just type it in. I don't have my notes in front of me because sometimes I like to post these. What number was that? Number 14, false flag drone attacks. Well, I'm sure one of my people on Subscribe Star will help me remind me of that. But yes, very interesting actually. The other thing is I see, and I saw this before, some kind of maybe this is part of what they're going to make it look like. Somebody again mounting some kind of gun or some kind of military like weapon on a drone and going in and kind of like murdering. And then as I'm telling you that, they're telling me, Spirit, that the drug cartel has already got drones that they're working on to start to use from their little hub, the houses that they hide out in the cartel, the lords. And they're going to start using drones, not just to assassinate and kill the people that are in their way, but they're going to start using them, and they already are using them. And the United States government knows this, tells me, says Spirit, that they already are using them to drop drugs over the border. They're quiet, and they go right over the border, and they're already completely aware of it. Because, you know, a lot of people don't realize that the CIA and FBI are the biggest drug dealers in the United States. Just saying. Moving right along. So some kind of assassination thing, false flag with drones. But not only that, drones are going to become a global problem, said Spirit, which means there's going to be other things that come up in the near future revolved around drones and government with drones and the way government spies with drones. And we already know that. We know they do that. They have technology you would never even imagine. For every year that we advance technologically, government advances 50 years, and that's been since 1950s. So imagine what they have. So just saying. But this is going to be headlines. I can't wait to see how that comes out and into fruition. Number 13, I see 3 car bombs. And I had this again before, but this is different or more clarity on something I said previously. I see 3 car bombs coming with a huge significance. I see one outside or within a military area that seems American to me. I feel this will be near a gate, like a gate entrance to like a military place, and possibly the vehicle actually charges through the gates or towards the gates. That feels more at home to me, and it pops up in my mind New Jersey. Something like that happened in Jersey years ago with somebody, more of a shooting, but that pops in my mind. So if that pops in my mind, maybe it's the East Coast, but I would say definitely something that happens within the United States. But I see another vehicle outside parked in front of a very significant and likely a big government building. I see men drive a van or a truck up to the spot in front of this building. They get out and they run. And as they're running, I see it explode. So if this particular one's within the United States or even within Europe, that particular one with them running, and they'll probably, again, if I had a vision of this, then there would be video of this, because Spirit wouldn't show me it if it wasn't something that couldn't be backed up in some way. But when this particular one comes, and I feel like, again, United States or Europe, that one is actually a false flag attack by the government to defer people's attention away from the true matters that are at heart. 2 of these 3 vehicle bombings, 2 out of these 3, are affiliated with each other. The first one feels like a Middle Eastern attack on Americans and other troops, not just American troops, but other troops. So this is something that, again, that could be actually over in the Middle East. While the other 2 are paid for and planned by that guy Soros and the secret government military leaders, the dark ones. I just hope and pray personally that me putting this out, this prediction out, that they don't start and it coming true and them planning this and being a false flag and all, they don't find me. I don't want them to know that like that. Let's just pray on that one right there. But this brings into mind the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. And whether it be one of these particular ones, one of these 3 vehicle explosions, it may not be one of these. But I do feel that they are planning, and I've said this before, they are planning to do something in D.C., and I believe it's the Capitol building, eventually. Blaming it on citizens, of course, like they did before, but really when it's actually going to be something responsible from the government. So that was number 13. Number 12. Number 12, Florida, mainly Miami. And yes, some of these are weather related, even though I will do weather predictions again later in the month. But mainly Miami will be hit by a storm that is almost biblical as what Spirit showed me. I saw the rising of the ocean waters, perhaps maybe it's the ocean surge that reaches the main roads and structures. I see visions of people rushing to get out of the building. Like, get out of the building as the waters are actually rising right at their feet. As I was actually reviewing this list, because I been working on this morning, took some breaks throughout the day. When I came back to reread what I put out, I was rereading that particular prediction about Florida, and as I was reviewing my predictions, and read that number 12, Spirit started to show me a vision from up above in the sky, looking down like I was in a helicopter. And I saw a rather large highway connection road, the one that all swirls around, one of those from up above. And, with lots of exits or whatever and loops, like a big bow, like a big bow. I saw the lower levels underwater, and then I saw quite a few vehicles stranded on the higher roads. The higher part are the bridges or the, passways or whatever. I'm pretty sure that I'm looking down at Texas when I'm looking at this vision. Whether this is related to the same storm that comes through Miami, I mean, it's very possible that if it came across that way into Texas, it's definitely very possible. Being that I read 12 and then that popped in my mind right after the whole Miami, I would think they're related to the same thing. I would think. Again, don't quote me on that. Could be two separate. Number 11, Los Angeles kept popping into my mind this morning, actually. Really early this morning. And I don't get much detail other than hearing Spirit say to me, "Oh, dear Los Angeles, your suffering shall reach a new level soon." And that's all I heard from Spirit. It kept popping in my mind, Los Angeles. I went to go type it, as I did. Los Angeles kept popping in my mind. And then I heard Spirit say, "Oh, dear Los Angeles, your suffering shall reach a new level soon." I don't know what that means, but I see a lot of what Spirit says now is a lot of hellfire breaking out in the California and Los Angeles area and other cities towards the West Coast, kind of like going back up to Washington or Oregon, but definitely Los Angeles. And being that Spirit said, your suffering shall reach a new level soon, I would think, what could that possibly be? I mean, that's different than anywhere else in the world. I would think it would be quite a few events coming to that area, one after another, and everything comes in threes. I feel like they're going to get hit one after another. Because I know that they have the homeless population, all that. I know about that. Thank you for mentioning that in the chat room, y'all. But, yeah, I lost my chat. There it is. Anyway, moving right along. So we will see what happens with that. And I'm sure I'll get more information as time progresses through each week and month. Number 10, I see, and this goes back to Germany, and it came up later. It came up, the first ones I read off to you were this morning, and the last ones were more this afternoon or evening. I see German fighters, meaning German fighter planes, of course, taking off, and it appears to me, I believe, to the west of wherever Spirit shows me this vision. I just felt like these planes were taking off and going west in my vision. So west of Germany, I guess, or out of West Germany, possibly. Maybe that's where they're coming from, now that I think about it. But that's all I saw was military planes taking off. And I saw a vision of German military base and people scrambling, troops scrambling around, running to the planes or whatever. This vision followed me hearing sirens. And I don't know what the sirens were, but it was at the same base. It was an alert of some sort. But perhaps I felt that perhaps this is a false alarm preparing for what's actually going to be a real event coming to German soils not long after. So keep that one in mind. And if anybody of our friends in Germany know of anything like this that happens in the near future with, sirens and them all like scrambling, and then it ends up being nothing, remember that's the warning that something's coming shortly after. Number 9, the problems that come out of Israel are about to increase. Biblical Spirit just said, biblical. I see death, sadly, coming to the big box of evil. And Spirit called it the big box of evil. The box being, the place where so many go and they walk around in circles around it. I forget what it's called, but Spirit said the box of evil. And they're walking around in circles and they fight, if you ever seen video of them trying to get closer to it, to kiss it or whatever it may be, to the evil that actually, Spirit said they fight to get closer to the evil radiating from this religious structure. That's the way I heard it in my mind today. I see huge controversy that begins to develop around this particular religious monument, which I think is a Muslim thing, actually. I also see a small explosion, and I'm pretty sure that this is a suicide bomber with explosives tied to his body, or her body. It could be her. There may actually be 2, perhaps even 3. This could be that which begins to be slowly the match. This whole event basically could be the match that sadly ignites the fire that takes us into the great war that's in all the prophecies, or the great shaking that the Hopi talk about, or the great war. There's many names for it. Y'all would refer to it as World War III, even though there's kind of been more than just 2 World Wars already in many people's minds. But that'll be interesting to see what happens with that. We don't want to see that happen, because we don't want to see any of that happen. We want to hold that in the light, whether we like what they do or whatever. It doesn't matter, because what happens there is going to repel like a ripple effect on the entire world. Which takes me to number 8. Our poor friends in Africa, which Africa definitely needs our prayers, just like the rest of the planet, but definitely Africa. And I heard, have you not suffered enough? Our prayers are with you, all y'all in Africa. I know I got lots of people in Africa too. As Spirit shows me, and I hear, silent war in Africa becomes silent no more. Again, silent war in Africa becomes silent no more. And that's exactly the way I heard it. China has forced themselves upon your land. They dig their tunnels beneath your villages, and some even rape your women. China will pay in the distant future. I didn't like that part, distant future, but they will pay in the distant future. But for now, the African people must arise and fight. I see all types of rioting and fighting coming to your soil. I see the light attempting to help. I see large cracks in the land. The earth shakes in the land violently, straight through. Actually, I see it like, it has to be, part of this has to be earthquake related. But the tunnels that are there, I see explosions happening underneath the ground. And at first it looks like a volcano erupting out of nowhere, but I believe it's explosions. And I believe it has to do with China and what they're digging. So we know about the tunnels and the dumbs and all that the Illuminati dark people use. This is different. This is the Chinese and what they're doing. And I don't know what they're doing, but apparently they're sneaking into areas from underground to take away everything they have. And I see explosions under there. And I don't know if this is the light that Spirit told me, fighting, helping them to fight. And the light getting under there and blowing up their tunnels and collapsing them so they can't get in there and steal all their minerals or whatever they're trying to steal over there. I don't know. But one of these I saw collapsing, and that was the really interesting thing. I saw a collapse, which could be still earthquake related, but the collapse just looked like almost like a building collapse in one spot and then running down a line, like going down a line, which would make me think a tunnel collapse. That's how I thought, and that's what it felt like to me. That is due probably likely from the explosion underneath your soil, Africa, my friends in Africa. And then I got China will pay. But then I also saw a vision, and part of this is near one of their largest cities, where this shake and violent shake happens near one of your largest cities in Africa. But I saw land collapsing in the biggest, most narrow sinkhole that I've ever seen. Explosions from beneath your soil, China will pay. Moving right along. I see helicopters and boats rushing to what appears to be an island or at least a coastal area. This is number 7, by the way. I see people being evacuated in pretty large numbers. I do not know what's coming or what already came to this land that I'm seeing in this vision, but it's huge. Whatever it is, it's huge. And it appears like the military evacuating pedestrians wherever this is. It's like, it almost made me feel like it was about to happen. They were getting people out before it happened. That's how it felt to me in this vision. Not that something happened, but more like something's about to happen and trying to get them out as fast as they can. I don't know what's about to happen, but that's number 7. And 7 pops out in my mind even more so. So I don't know if there's maybe a July connection to that, or 7 is a very sacred number to all the ancient cultures. Look at the Bible and the 7 trumpets and the 7 seals, 7 archangels, and so forth. Number 6, I see oil begin to rush out of a large pipe along a body of water. The pipe reminds me more like a large sewage pipe, gigantic. So I'm not sure if this is potentially some type of dump of crude oil through the sewage lines, but it looks to me like a very swampy area that leads into a coastal area. I see helicopters flying above, and I would guess that these are news helicopters. That's what it felt like to me, because there were quite a few in different colors. The oil that was gushing out of the pipe was gushing out by thousands and thousands of gallons, tens of thousands of gallons. And I talked about oil being a problem this year in my annual predictions on January 1st. Let's move on to number 5, Canada. Oh, dear, dear Canada. How much we praise your people who have actually finally stood up against Trudeau. Praise the Lord for that. I bring you good news, at least I hope it's good news, when Spirit says to me today, Trudeau's time is about to run out. What that means exactly, we can only, come to, anything could happen. But Spirit clearly said Trudeau's time is about to run out. About when, I do not know, but Spirit said it's about to run out. I see the protests in Canada like there will be soon and shall be soon globally, but I also see issues around the parliament in Canada, which I mentioned earlier. I see protests that almost look like a martial law event that takes place. Because I see protests, I see all these military vehicles coming in and like raiding the protesters. So I see that, in Canada, but of course that'll be something that'll end up being global, which will take me to number 1 in a few minutes, but let's move on to number 4. World major problems will begin to arise for Elon Musk, the alien dude. Elon Musk, and mostly his SpaceX and Starlink programs, along with what is about to occur with the number 5 and the 7th letter of the alphabet, without me saying it. You know what I'm talking about. And from this point forward, I'm going to start calling it the 5 gods, or the 5 goddesses, the 5 gods. And we all know, it is said that thou shalt be no strange gods before me. So having 5 different gods is the best example I can give you. And, but anyway, I made myself laugh. Anyway, Starlink is actually the true darkness that I learned about in detail when I was in Peru and worked with Shama Puma and Mama Ayahuasca in San Pedro as well. And that's when I learned in detail about the web of darkness that covers the earth, that catches us all in like bait to Mama Spider, or Papa Spider, which is the deep Luciferian darkness. Mama Ayahuasca, and then I thought, it's a web, and they showed me in Ayahuasca all the different, how, the web and how beautiful it is, and each piece leads to a point, and that's how big the web of darkness is. But then it just hit me recently about the web of satellites that Elon Musk casts across the planet Earth, closer to the Earth than any other satellites ever. And he even referred to it in a video or something I watched, where he called it a web of satellites. And that's when it hit me. I'm like, oh my God, a web of darkness. Because that shape of a web, when they show you the pattern and the link to this up in the sky with the Starlink, it looks like a big spider web. Each one of those satellites being, one of the points of darkness. And then think of the internet, the web of darkness. I didn't put that together until like a week ago. It popped up and I'm like, oh my God, that's what ayahuasca showed me back in 2018 in Peru. I just thought it was different, but no, that's it. They're creating the web of darkness. We live in that web already, but they're creating a big web around the whole entire earth. And now I know what that is. So going back to Elon Musk, I don't know what's coming up around Starlink and all, but let's hope that it's good for us and bad for them. And it's going to be something, again, it connects people globally. That's the other thing, the whole web thing. Like, what about if people don't want to be connecting globally? What about the mountain man out in the mountains that don't want to be a part of that? They're going to make you a part of that. It's interesting. But this is all going to come up this year. And Elon Musk, and I see big problems for him with Starlink and with SpaceX, and losses of money, even though he's investing personally in areas that are going to be profitable for him. But within his own company, it's going to be losses. Number 3, I saw cruise ships. And 3 ships come into my headlines today, coming into news headlines. I saw a cruise ship in my vision being towed, which was interesting. Why was it being towed? I don't know, but it seemed to be being towed by a boat that looked like Coast Guard or military. And then I see this vision now even more clearly, and it's like there's little boats around it, almost like keeping it protected or keeping whatever protected from what's on the boat. And I think this may have to do with some type of major breakout of some type of, again, virus of some sort. But why they would tow the boat, I'm not sure. That's the vision, and it was a big white cruise ship. And I know I had some visions and some predictions around ships in my New Year's Day predictions. I don't know what they are, but this popped up again for me today, number 3, and it showed me 3 ships come into headlines. And I would believe that this is all at the same time. And it actually happens to be number 3 prediction too. I didn't even think about that now. Number 3 ships coming into headlines. One's the cruise ship being towed. The other one, I feel like it goes back to my January predictions. You'd have to go look at that. Number 2, very interesting one for all y'all that hung out with me this long. Corn. Yes, corn, my friends, corn. Like corn in the cob. Spirit said to me today, corn is golden. I'm like, I prefer the white corn, but yeah, golden corn's good too. As I see a vision of a cob of corn, Spirit showed me after I heard corn is golden, and the kernels of the corn were falling off, the kernels were falling off the cob, and they were gold nuggets, little gold corn nuggets, real gold. So my friends, and all y'all who keep asking me about investments and where to invest, try corn. I'm not even joking. I'm not even kidding. And again, I personally have no idea. I also told you silver. You can go back and listen to it before everybody leaves a million comments of where to invest. And I'm not doing Bitcoin, so don't even ask there. But corn. Today's subject is corn. I have no clue how one could invest in corn, but if anybody has any ideas or find out anything about investing in corn, please let us know down in the comments, because I'd like to throw a couple bucks in that direction. Which takes me to, oh wait, I didn't even finish with corn, my apologies. So we already know that there's shortages. We already know that, and I've been predicting shortages since back in 2020, early 2020. But I would have never thought in a million years that corn would be something that Spirit would tell me would become a huge global issue in late 2022 into 2023 and 2024. But it will make, and here's the thing, this is the key that Spirit told me, this whole thing will make the elite, the billionaires, richer. Whatever's going on, which means they're behind it, of course. If they're going to get richer off of what's going to happen with corn and how it's gold, it's going to become golden, corn products are going to triple in price. And that's if you can even find certain corn products like corn tortillas or whatever. So stock up on that corn products, folks. Get yourself some corn seeds, plant some corn. And I don't usually do corn, but I think I'm going to plant some corn this year in my vegetable garden. Number 1, the final of my top 20 February predictions 2022. The final rise up of people ignites the fires against the governments. Evil controls and their evil intentions. That's right. That fire is going to be ignited like never before. Spirit showed me the United Nations, actually, and several of their hubs. I don't know where their hubs are, but I do recognize one in my vision, and that was New York City. And I believe it was 3 different United Nations hubs that they were showing me in my visions today. I see some sort of attempt to strip specific constitutional rights in several countries that ignites a world fury. We are in a time of truth, my friends, as you know, and it's all being revealed. A time when the dark web of evil, Luciferians, is going to continue to weave their web of darkness, but we are here to ensure that we dismantle it, and they never get to weave that full web of darkness above us. So whatever is going to happen, people are going to arise this year against governments like something you've never seen before. And it brings me back to 2011. I don't remember, but Spirit pops 2011 in my mind, and the rise up of people then. This will be probably 10 times bigger and stronger, and it's already happening, but it's going to happen in a way that, like, all of us are going to be out there. Hopefully all of us, not sit on the couch and not fight for your rights, but this is what's coming. And I don't know what they're stripping from whose constitution. Probably, again, more than one of us, which would probably be United States, Canada, and Europe, that area. That's probably the same, whatever constitutional right they're going to try to strip from all of us. And that's not going to float. The other thing that's not in here, and this will be my 21 prediction, I guess, I see another huge ban coming on social media platforms. And probably takes me to my first one tonight, number 20, with the whole Trump and the whole thing. Something's coming up with them going after him again, so that's going to be a huge platform, deplatforming of people. So be aware of that, folks. Be aware of that. And don't forget the date that I've been telling you about for a long time, 2/22/2022. That's coming up in a few weeks. I'll give you more about that in one of my next few videos that are coming up. But until the next time, please be sure to subscribe down below. Please give me a like. Thank anybody. I got to go to the chat room. I don't, because of the way this chat is. If anybody threw chat cash at me, thank you so much for that. I couldn't do this without your love and support. You can also give donations through the PayPal link down below. It's better, and YouTube don't get 30% of it. Just saying. And you can also, again, subscribe down below, become a part of the YouTube tribe down below. All that's down below. So remember to celebrate life, celebrate you, celebrate the amazing you that you are, that you can be, you will be in the future. And celebrate the amazing blessings and miracles. The flow of abundance, joy, and happiness each and every moment of every day. The more you do, the more blessings and miracles you will experience. The more you bitch and complain, the more the universe is going to give you to bitch and complain about, so why bother? Spiritman JT signing off. I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful day and night. Beautiful day. Namaste.